This is a 10,000 mile review of my 2016 Volkswagen Tiguan. I've done a lot of videos of different features of the car, overviews and stuff. Since I first got it, I've been doing little videos. It's been a pretty good car so far. It's got 10,000 miles on it now. I took it in, got the oil changed and all, and it hasn't had any issues. When I took it in to get serviced, there was two things that I thought were issues. One of the back windows, the passenger's rear window, was making a funny noise when you'd roll it down. So when I took it into the dealer I asked about that, and apparently there was a rubber boot of some kind inside the door that had come loose. And so it would rub the window when the window went down, and it made a funny kind of grinding noise. Anyway, the dealer fixed it. It was a warranty issue. It was nothing to worry about. Another feature, or another thing that I thought was an issue that ended up not being an issue, was the heated mirrors appeared not to work. I'll use those to defog the mirrors even in the summertime. But they don't turn on unless it is below 70 degrees outside, I guess. So there was actually not an issue with that. I just didn't know how it operated. Other than that, I haven't had any issues with the car. It drives good. Power is good. I'm averaging, generally I can go months at a time and average about 25 miles to the gallon, which I'll show you here. Starting it up.
That's huge savings.
See it. I'm right at, well, that's the temperature. Average consumption saying 25.3 right now. I drive mostly in the city, but I just did do a long road trip, so that does go up. I get down a little under 25, but I stick around 25 with my average MPGs. It's pretty good. It's better than the 2001 Jetta I drove previously. Actually got worse fuel economy than this, even though this is a good bit larger vehicle. Recently on that road trip, we actually took this vehicle to the Smoky Mountains National Park, and the car handled very well on the interstate. We've had it on the interstate before, obviously, and it handles well. In the Smoky Mountains National Park, if you've ever been there, the roads are very winding mountain roads, and there's a lot of very steep portions. And the car handled well on that. One thing with that, though, it has a 6-speed automatic transmission, and when you go up a steep incline, sometimes it would seem like it would shift a little early, and then in the next gear it would be almost like it was doggy. There's two easy fixes for that in this vehicle. You can put it in the S mode, which is sport mode. It revs higher, so it'll keep a higher RPM, and you'll go up the hills without it having that little bit of doggy feel. Another thing you can do, you can shift it over into the side, and then you drive it Tiptronic. Basically, you're driving it like it's a manual. You can just pick your gear, and then you obviously won't have any problems. You'll be in full control, just like a manual transmission. But it didn't really have any problems with the inclines. It was just kind of gear hunting, it seemed. Other than that, I haven't had any issues at all, like I said. I'm really liking the Tiguan. It's got a good amount of space. It's very functional. I have the Volkswagen crossbars on there. I use a roof rack that I got off of Amazon. I have a basket that sits on top of there that allows me to fit a little more stuff in there. We have 2 dogs we generally take with us, 2 larger dogs, so dog cages fit in here. I've got videos of pretty much everything I've done with fitting different things and whatnot in here. This is just kind of a 10,000 mile overview. I've had it for about 10 months now. I put about $1,000 a month on it, so but it has been a very good vehicle. You can see everything still looks really clean and new, which you would expect. 10,000 miles is not that much for a car that's well built, or if you do have problems within 10,000 miles, it was obviously not well built. I mean, I haven't had any issues whatsoever, really. I really do like the vehicle. It is the back area. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, the back seat here is adjustable. It slides back and forth, folds flat. The backrests actually recline a little bit. I keep them in a position. You can see there that they're almost straight up, and that helps with my dog cage fit in here. I put a medium-sized dog cage that's, I believe it's it's about 30 inches long, I believe. I'm not sure the width of it, like 2 feet by 30 inches, I believe. And that that fits without a problem. And I've got videos of that as well. Like I said, I've got videos of all the little features of the car. This is just kind of an overview. But I would recommend the Tiguan. One thing, Tiguans aren't the cheapest vehicles. But they do. This is the base model, the very base model that you can get. And as you see, I got the two-tone leather seats. So they come, even the base models come with a good amount of options standard. So there is, you know, they may appear expensive if you compare them to a similar size vehicle, but the base model won't line up very well with the base model of those vehicles because they just come with more options. While I was at the dealer for the 10,000 mile service, I checked out the 2017 Tiguans, and they really don't look like they did much to change them. One thing that they did add in the 2017s, though, is this radio. If you look at the radio, you have 3 buttons here. The higher end ones that weren't the S model had 4 buttons on the radio. The 4-button radios have the Android App Connect as well as Apple Carplay, and I kind of wanted that, but it wasn't available in this one, and to go up to the next trim was, you know, a lot more expensive, so I just opted out of it. But for 2017, they do have that in them, so if you're looking at a 16 or a 17, and that's something you want, you would probably want to stay with this, go to the 17 for that. They also changed the trim lines a little bit. For 16, they had an S, an SE, and an SEL. S being the base, SEL being the top of the line one. And then you can get the 4Motion 4-wheel drive version of each of those. In the 17s, from what I've seen, they got rid of the SE, I believe, and now they have a Wolfsburg is the middle trim. And they also have a Sport. The Sport, the body of the vehicles is basically the same. The higher trim packages, you can't notice it as much on this car, but this here is plastic and it's not painted. On the higher trim levels, that'll be painted body color, whether it be white or blue or whatever. But if you get the S model, it will be still gray unpainted plastic. On this vehicle, it doesn't really show up that well because the vehicle is almost the same color as that. But on the Sport models, they actually have, if you look at the, you know, the little trim piece here on the fender, it actually is like a little flare, and it seemed to stick out, I don't know, like just an inch. It looked just a little different. It was noticeable, but it wasn't a really big thing. Just a little different style to it. But other than that, I didn't really see anything different about the body of from the 16s to the 17s. I believe that the Tiguan is going to be completely redone for the next model year. I've read that, but I haven't seen a production model of that yet. So we'll kind of wait and see what Volkswagen will do with that. But the 16's been great. The 17 probably does have, obviously always they upgraded a little bit. Another thing that's, I keep up with the Tiguans, so you may notice I have the roof rack on here. Well, I've showed you the roof rack. The roof rack on the Tiguan S is black. It'll be chrome on the higher trim levels. Now, back, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but in like 2013, the S did not come with the roof racks on the rails. So if you see those, they have like a flat top. I always wanted the roof rack on if I got one, but I don't know that I would have wanted to upgrade the trim package to all the way to an SE just to get the roof rack. But now with the current models, you cannot get it without a roof rack. I think it looks better anyway. So, but if you're looking at 2009, the S model probably will not have the roof rack. And I guess that's about it. I guess I'm just rambling now.